Hello, welcome to Sanatu Zambang. My name is Mumuni. Today we are going to have a wonderful discussion about Dagban and the media. With me in the studios, I have people from Dagban Association of Journalists. I will just go right and then introduce our guest for today's discussion. I have Mr. Abubakari Adam. He works with Sagani TV and also a host and then the PRO for Dagban Journalists Association. I also have with me here Mr. Mumuni Yunus. He's a morning show host for Radio Justice and then the secretary for Association of Dagbang Journalists. So we are delving direct into the discussion. Now, over the past 2 weeks, we've had the funerals of the late overlords of Dagban being telecast, and we've had issues of people complaining about how Dagban is being portrayed in the media. We just want to find out from those people in the media in the northern region their views about all these issues, and then we also talk about the Dagban Journalists Association. So I will move right to the PRO to give us something brief about what Dagban Journalists Association is all about. So Mr. Adam, please tell us, what is Dagban Journalists Association all about?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. Association of Dagbang Journalists, as the name implies, readily means that any individual who is a journalist working within the corridors of Dagban is a member. And we have people who are with us, those who are not Dagumbas, but they share the ideas of the association. So everybody is welcome. But we are leading the cause. And the essence of the course is that we want Dagban to be portrayed in the media landscape very positive. Because for far too long, for well over 2 decades now, we've had challenges with Dagban. And anytime at all Dagban is mentioned, it's about the negative aspect or the negative side rather than the positive side. So we brought our heads together. We thought like it wouldn't be necessary to continue that way. Sometimes we have negative reportages on air through print and electronic media. We thought it wise that there was the need to change that. So when we came together from various platforms, we had the reason to think alike and believe that doing something about it rather than complaining or lamenting would help. So we came together, we shared ideas, and we finally concluded that the way forward for us was to champion the cause of a positive Dagban, precisely about the funerals of the late overlords and the subsequent choice of a Yana and anything that follows. So that is the main reason why the association has been formed. But aside Dagban issues, we have a whole lot to do. Developmental challenges, we're going to champion that. Going to make sure that anything at all that is going to portray Dagban in bad light, we wouldn't do that. And anything that will put that in good light, we're going to do that. So in brief, this is what Association of Dagbang Journalists is all about.
Thank you very much. So briefly, it was formed this particular year.
Yes, that's very year. 2018. The latter part of 2018.
Was it in anticipation for the performance of the funerals, or it came before this?
Yeah, it came before it, but that was the lead. You know, we thought it wise that now that it's about Dagban, we do something about it. Earlier on, we had some challenges regarding some people who had challenges with themselves in Apache. We saw headlines like the Gumbes and Kunkumbes fighting over a pig. And earlier on, some time back, we heard the Gumbes and Kunkumbes fighting over guinea fowl. You know, majority of us are Muslims. Majority of us are traditional people. We're not saying that taking pig or pork is bad, but we don't take it. Why do we fight over it? How much is a pig? How much is a guinea fowl? And the whole tribe is going to fight over it. So we believe that the criminal aspect of every misunderstanding should be dealt by law and not portraying it to look like the people are fighting over it. So we had excess from this, and this was how it all started.
Let me go to Mr. Yunus. Do you have anything to add to this?
Yes, let me say thank you to Sanatu Zambang for having us this morning. I think that, like the PRO has said, the primary reason why the association was formed was to change people's minds about Dagban. There's this stereotyping about Dagban that we are violent people, we do not like peace, we are always fighting amongst ourselves. But really, that hasn't been the case. Even in the past 17 years that we have had this issue that has just been solved, we are not fighting amongst ourselves every day. It was just usually when those issues even happen, you live in parts of Dagban that you never witness such things happening. So it was just a few areas that were having those issues. It was an issue with royals having disagreements amongst themselves. So really, it wasn't the whole of Dagban that was burning, as some people seem to suggest. And so we thought that why must we also have platforms to educate, to enlighten people about what Dagban actually is? Why must we have that platforms and not do anything about it? So we thought that yes, we had to come together as a people who love Dagban. And like the PRO has said, it is not just about Dagumbes. It is not an association for only Dagumbes. But like the name implies, Dagban is a state. And if you live in that state and you think that it is worthy for you to fight for the cause of the state, and you are a journalist, then you are automatically a member. For those of us who are just in the front line, we are just in the front line because, of course, as an association, you need people, a few people, to be manning the affairs of it. And so that's why you see some of us at the forefront. But we have a lot of our colleagues, the Gumbes, non-Gumbes, in the association who are fighting the cause of Dagban.
Okay, then let's narrow the conversation to this funeral. What did you seek to do as an association of Dagban journalists?
Yes, for us, ours was to report accurately on everything that happened during the funerals, accurately and being factual, and also to project our culture and traditions, because usually when these funerals are being performed, like we all saw, you see our rich culture and traditions being displayed. And so for us, that was our main purpose, to ensure that we projected the norms and values of Dagban to the rest of the world very well, and to also ensure that at least the bad reportage about Dagban would have minimized. We knew that we would have challenges, of course, when you are bringing people together. Definitely, you have one or two recalcitrant ones who would want to mar the beauty of the process, and like we saw, it happened. But how it would be reported was what we wanted, and Alhamdulillah, in the end, we saw that at least, even though people had issues with some of the reportages, but in the end, generally, we as an association think that our colleagues who are even non-members of the association did very well during this period.
Okay, then let's try to digest the issue of the North actually being always constantly being tagged as violent. But what do you think is causing it? Why do you always have the North being portrayed as violent, fighting, wars? Why? Is there any, theory that you have to explain this for us?
I think I have to come in here. There's this saying that the devil finds work for the idler. The idea or the brain behind Northerners always being portrayed as violent people is the youth. The youth have the strength in them with which they should have used to do things that would help them and help their country. But what happens if they don't have jobs? Anything that triggers, they will follow suit. So we've seen that poverty, education are some of the things that is pushing us behind. If we are not that educated, we would always be seen doing things that is negative to the development of our country. If we don't have resources that we champion as a result of job creation, we'll always be seen doing things that is not good for us. So these are some of the things I think should always be seen. And this, if you have jobs, if you're educated, I don't think you and I would see ourselves in the front line being used by some people for their parochial interests.
For example, if I'm a media company and then true on the ground in Dagban, people are actually fighting, and then I'm always reporting that particular one. Is there something wrong with that?
In actual sense, there's nothing wrong with that. In any human institution, like my secretary mentioned, you find people who are either recalcitrant or bad nuts. But that in its sense doesn't mean that the entire people are bad people. If two people are having issues with each other, if there's no redress to it amicably, then don't let it look like it is the whole people who have a challenge or that sharing that common challenge. Some people might go for it, others against it. So we sometimes call on the security to be very proactive, making sure that they report or they take the issues as it is, but not let it look like Dagumbes. Immediately you bring in Dagban or Dagumbes, any person at all who is far away from Dagban or northern region will be hurt. But if you let it look like two people or some people have challenges, just like it happens even in the USA, in Europe and whatever, it happens. But you don't see them mentioning tribes. These are some of the things. And thank God we were able to report very factual on this. We told our colleagues who were not interested and who didn't see the essence of this platform, we told them that we weren't against them. We have a common platform, and the platform is that we want to project our own motherland in the positive landscape. What is wrong about this? So I think if we come together just like we have started, anybody at all can form an association like this and champion their own cause. You brighten the corner where you find yourself. What is wrong with that? So truly, I think we are on the right course.
And just to add to your question regarding reporting on conflicts, in journalism school, when you do your journalism, you are told that during conflicts, you as a reporter, you have to use your own discretion in reporting the facts. You may have a whole lot of facts available to you, but you ask yourself, which of these facts that if I put out would help in resolving the conflict, and which are those facts that if I put out will help escalate the conflict. So really, if you are able to deduce that, if you are able to pick the good ones, those that you think can resolve the conflict and report, there's nothing wrong with that. And that has been our problem. That has been our challenge as media men working here. Some of us really have never seen the need for us to weigh and measure facts available to us. And by so doing, and to me, I have said that the media over the years has contributed significantly to fanning the conflict in Dagban. And that has been why it has moved on a long while before we were able to resolve it. And you know that since the association was formed, a lot has changed regarding media reportage about northern region, Dagban in particular. And so, yes, if conflict happens, you can report, but you use your own discretion. That's why we attend the schools. Else, anybody could get up and start writing. But we attend those journalism schools to learn the best practices. And for us, we are just calling for the best practices.
To add to what he has just said about the conflict reporting, we were very emphatic on the idea that these funerals were on custom and tradition. You should know the tenets or the rules governing that. If you go say anything you don't know, you misinform the general public. But if you go ask the right people the right question, you'll be well guided and informed, and you will inform the general public. So these were some of the things we hammered on. And thank God our colleagues concentrated on that. They went to the right people, asked the right questions, and that was why you saw the entire event, even though having some little challenges, but in the end, it ended successfully. And so thank God, we have to appreciate our colleagues, all those who cooperated with us. Earlier, many thought we were against them. Many thought we wanted to gag them from reporting the actual events or situations that was happening, but that wasn't it. Later on, they found out that what we really meant was what is good for Dagban. So to just add to that, I think our colleagues did well. And the southern media, they relied heavily on us even up till now, because we gave out a communique telling them that they should rely on us for the best reportage. We don't want to be seen doing things that is not necessary, saying things that will fan the already volatile situation we have here. So in the end, they relied on us. Even this morning, we spoke with the likes of Metro FM in Sunyani, XYZ, and all this stuff. They call us day in, day out. We update them on what is going on. And truly, we can say it's a success story. We have a hand in the success story from the performance of the funerals and the choice of New Year now, who is still going through processes. And thank God by Friday, the coronation will be done and Dagban will take it from there.
Okay, so as an association, are you satisfied with the work you did during the performance of these funerals?
Yeah, we wish we could do more, like Oliver Twist, always calling for more. Dagban, Northern Region, Ghana, the whole world needed more information. But an infant organization or association like us still have some challenges, but we never saw those challenges impeding our process in making sure we do our work. We did the best we can. We wouldn't say, okay guys, we did well. The general public out there saw what we did and they applaud us for that, but that doesn't mean we should relent. We are continuing, and you will see us very visible in all processes regarding the development of Dagban. And mind you, anytime there are challenges, we are equally going to hammer on that. We are people who share common interests. If others are going bad and we think it's necessary, we report on that so that they will change. Why not? And we made it a point that even those amongst us as an association, if some of us are going wrong, we let the whole world know that these very individuals do not need the progress or success of the association. We can't be everywhere. We need the support of the general public to assist us do the work well. This is the only channel we have. We are not custodians of the land. We are not politicians. Abudu Andani is dead, so we don't belong to any faction. We're doing the bid for Dagban and Northern Region. Just recently, Northeast region has been carved out of Northern region. Savannah region has been carved out, leaving the Northern region. All these places already, when it was entirely Northern region, needed development. Now this separation has come, and we still need to champion those places to make sure that we develop. So that next time when they are mentioning Northern region or Dagban, we'll be seen as people who love development, who are peace-loving people and not destruction.
Yes. Okay.
Just to add to that, I think, to me, one of our biggest achievements over this period has been our ability to at least appeal to our colleagues to report the good side of Dagban, and that has been what has been reported over this period. A lot of our colleagues did a lot of work during this period. Dagban customs and traditions are usually, and our history are usually oral based, and so it is difficult to get people to speak to that. But a lot of them did some fantastic job, and I think that everyone deserves commendation. But I believe that it is the Association of Dagbon Journalists that was able to change the minds of some of our colleagues to report the good aspects of Dagban, and to me that's a huge achievement.
And to add to that, even the achievement, you could realize that when we told the whole world that the Kumbuna was leaving Kumbu to Yendi in a very grand style with custom and tradition, thousands of people thronged the main streets of Tamale to watch, moving with the armory of Dagban, especially when there's, significantly, we are not fighting, But he is someone in Dagban, they call him Twabnizuru. Anything regarding the east side of Dagban, he's supposed to take charge of that. He came with these and this other armory that indicated that he was ready, prepared. Anytime Dagban was at war with any other person or people, they were ready. So people came in their numbers, they saw this. And the whole world embraced the culture, the hidden culture that people never knew. So all these things, I think Association of Dagbang Journalists have been very instrumental in making people know that this is the rich culture we have. Check it, in the whole of Africa, there are only 2 kingdoms, and Dagbang is one. So if we're fighting amongst ourselves, we wouldn't be strong. So now we want to be strong. We are not against anybody, but as we stand united now, we can help ourselves. You've seen good initiatives being churned out by some people who are Dagbang descendants, like we should help do some contribution to build our own Yanas Palace, that's the Biwa Palace, to give it a befitting status so that people can even look up to that as a tourist attraction, to come learn the tradition and custom of Dagbang. And for all you know, sons and daughters of Dagbang who are far away and never knew anything about Dagbang will now come back home. And in that, nobody will want to take credit for saying that my grandfather built the Biwa Palace, we have it, you don't have it. No, it will now be built by all of us. And when we are all satisfied with what we've done, I don't think there will be a day we want to bring any distraction to that structure.
What do you have to say to the argument that the Saudi media didn't pay so much attention to our funeral as compared to what we saw during the funeral of the mother of Otunfo?
Well, I agree with them to an extent, and I disagree with them to another extent. I agree with them in one aspect, because usually when the supposed bad news comes up, we get a lot of attention. They report it day in, day out. It features on almost all their news bulletins and their current affairs programs. But when it comes to the good aspects, little is said. Then I disagree with them on the other side. Really, we as the Gumbes, have we done anything? Have we? How many media houses do the Gumbes own in the country, or even in Tamale, the administrative capital of Dagban? How many radio stations are owned by the Gumbes? So in the past, our elite society didn't see the need to own such facilities, and that has haunted us over the years. You do not expect, I don't want to mention names, a media house in the south which is owing allegiance to another kingdom to be projecting a different kingdom. You don't expect that. So the challenge now is on us, especially our elite society, to sit up and begin to own media houses, especially television stations and radio stations. We have well about 20 radio stations in Tamale, 2 TV stations. But how many are for the Gumbes? How many are readily available to project our good image? Some are even scared. I know media houses in Tamale that totally stayed away from the funerals because they didn't want to be tagged. But if those institutions or media houses were owned by the Gumbes who had blood running through their veins, they would have really committed themselves to projecting the good image of Dagban. So I do not blame any Southern media house for not projecting our culture, our cultural values, our culture and tradition, especially during this period. Because really, every media house is established with its own philosophy. Every media, I'm sure Sanatu Zambang has its philosophy. My station has a philosophy. So if something is happening and I do not think that it goes in line with my philosophy, I will not give it attention.
Mr. Adam, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just like Yas Ahmed writes on the head of the mail, we have to sit up as a people. Nobody will tell our story, and even if somebody dares to, anyway they tell the story, the whole world embraces it as such. We have to tell our own story the way it is. So in all the media outlets, we have to be sure that whatever we want to do, Dagban is first. And if you don't have a media house, how much would you pay to a certain media house to showcase your great culture and tradition? It's a fact. Many people have ventured, tried to put up media outlets in the northern region, but sometimes the things they consider is, will they make returns? The volatility of the place, wouldn't their hard invested whatever be distracted afterwards? So some of these things. But now, thank God, we have an overlord, and we hope and pray that very soon people will now come out of their shells and believe in Dagban and put up those structures or media outlets. And you and I, we champion the cause, because we have to work. Mind you, those in the southern part of the country are not better than us. We've sent our sons and daughters to the various governments spanning from the days we had independence till now. You've seen what they've been able to do. So it tells that if we equally have the opportunity, we'll be able to do more. So blaming someone, no, I don't think we should blame someone. What I do think is that we should wake up from our slumber. Let it be seen and known that we are now fighting a common cause. And this political interference, yes, politicians, I sometimes give this gentleman as my example, the Jinapos. One is with MPP, one is with NDC. But when it comes to Gonjaland, they are always behind their father, always behind their tradition. Why can't we do the same?
I was just coming to that point. Wanted to see how you assess the effect of how we do politics in the northern region, as to how it has affected how Dagban has been portrayed. Because it's as if you are an Abudu, you belong to a certain party. If you are Andani, you belong to a certain party. So, for example, there are situations where we heard that because certain radio stations are aligned to certain parties, they didn't go to a certain funeral. Or I don't know whether you've had that kind of.
That is just what I said earlier. If a politician owns a media outlet, definitely you know the philosophy behind the operations of the media outlet. So, but in going by the rules of the game, you should be fair, firm, report what it is. And sometimes because of this political inclination, people see and pretend not to see. People do not see and they perceive. And these are some of the things that mar the beauty of the various media outlets. But thank God, I am delving my hopes on this peace we've had now. Everything will change, because politicians now will know that we can do without them. There's no more Abudu and Dali. It's a one unified Dagban. So we are moving on. Everything, I believe, within the shortest possible time will change.
Okay, so I just want to add something to that. At this stage, the point we are now, I still know that the chieftaincy contractors should be crying that finally this whole thing has come to a closure. When issues come up, let's not try to bring back the dead Abudu and anything into it again. When a criminal offense is created, it should be treated as such. We shouldn't align it to Abudu and Andani again. For NDC and PP, it has come to stay with us. It will be there. But for us as the Gumbes, when these things come up now, we have to treat them as criminal matters. And I've been very happy with how issues have been handled, especially after the last incident happened when the new Yana was being ushered into the Katine and some miscreants tried to mar the beauty of the process. It has been treated as a criminal, purely criminal matter, and I'm happy with the way things are now going. If we move on like that, I'm not sure a politician or a chieftaincy contractor can come between us again.
Okay, that is so wonderful. Now we know that we have a new king, and then Dagban is on a new path to peace and then development. So I want to find out, what do you think we need to do? I mean, to continue to project the good image of Dagban as an association and then the whole of Dagban. Because as someone has said, that because we are all now on social media, somehow we are all media houses, because whatever you say, something on my timeline can be taken and then published and then it becomes news. So what do you think we need to do as a people, as an association, to project the good image of Dagban?
First of all, as an association, I think that we just have to continue with what we started. Try to always report the good aspects of Dagban. And we have another agenda. I don't know if I'm permitted to spell it out.
But you can give it.
Yes. Aside just trying to ensure that the media reports accurately about Dagban, we also have an agenda to pursue which has to do with gathering resources to build a museum for at least Dagban, which will be stationed in Tamale. We have an agenda to do a lot of documentaries on the history of Dagban. We all hear about Nadbewa, we all hear about the Red Hunter Traje, but really, what else do we know about them apart from the names? And so we have taken it upon ourselves to embark on that journey, and we would be putting our institutions on their toes. In the past, we have had individuals who have been leading our institutions but have had agenda against Dagban. All these things are going to stop, and it's a promise.
How would you assess, I mean, the involvement of Tamale-based media in the performance of these funerals?
I should say the media outlets in Tamale did their best. Because Association of Dagbang Journalists was very open. We told everyone that should they need any information regarding the funeral performance, should rely on us. The lines of Radio Tamale, Radio Justice, ZAR Radio, and NTV. Notably, these are some of the stations I can mention. They did open up, they gave us their platforms, and we reported accurately. Sometimes, and even ABC and 123. We went there and equally had a very interactive discussion there. And we were on social media, Facebook precisely. Everybody was following us. And that was very exciting because we had a lot of comments. We had the MC of Tamale, Honorable Musa Superior, tapping us at the back, telling us we guys were doing very well. Because they were following what was happening. We're in Yendi. We followed every bit of what was happening. So with the media, we still need more of their spaces or their front lines to still tell the story about that one. So as an association, we need more. We have challenges, but we think the challenges should not stop us from doing the right thing. We are on course, and we're doing what is expected of us. So kudos to the media outlets. And now that there's a Yana, if you had this fear in you that your station might be attacked or vilified or whatever, now there's a Yana, no more, do no more, and then open up, let's work together. Because myself, I work with the media outlet. Yunus is at a different station. We are the Gumbas, but we believe we can come together and do one common thing, that is projecting Dagban in good faith.
Projecting Dagban in good faith. Mr. Yunus, what are your final comments before we wrap up?
Well, my final comments goes to the youth. If you are not a royal, you stay away from activities that has to do with royals. Let's educate ourselves. Let's learn. It's very important. If we are able to learn about our culture and traditions, we'll know our levels. But it is only when we are ignorant that we put ourselves on levels that we haven't gotten to. So very important for us to educate ourselves and learn. Yeah.
Mr. Adams, your final comments.
Very finally, we want to say thank you to Sanatu Zambang for this big opportunity and platform. And aside that, we want to say thank you to the government of the day, the three eminent kings, for their immense support. It's been several years. God has held them together. Otumfuo, Nayiri, and Yabura. And the previous Abuja and Andana factions, they cooperated very well until now. Politicians, in one way or the other, have done their bit. We thank them all. We want to say thank you to the Almighty God for how far He has brought us. We've been tested, and it proves that we have finally qualified. The next stage is what we intend going, and that is how to support the Overlord to move Dagban forward. So we thank the sons and daughters of Dagban far and near, and we say, may God help the Overlord of Dagban to see us through.
Thank you very much. It is obvious that Dagban is charting a new path to peace and development. So we at Sanatu Zambang, we are calling on everyone to support this cause so that Dagban one day will be great as it is. Thank you very much for spending your time with us.